In this video, we are going to focus on linear programming. You will find this on page 319 in the Namibian Ordinary Level Mathematics textbook, Y equals mx plus c to success. Linear programming, also called linear optimization, is a method to determine the best outcome, such as a maximum profit or the lowest cost, in a mathematical model. The general process for solving linear programming exercises is to graph the linear inequalities, called the constraints. Before we start with linear programming, let us begin with graphing linear inequalities. Graphing linear inequalities. In chapter 4, we only did linear inequalities with only one variable, and we illustrate the solution on a number line. Now we will look at linear inequalities with one variable and two variables, and we will represent them on a coordinate system as a region. With smaller and bigger inequalities, we draw a dotted line to indicate that we are not including the straight line, but everything up to the straight line. Whereas with smaller and equal and bigger and equal, we draw a solid line to indicate that we are also including the straight line in the solution. In linear programming, we shape the unwanted region. In a further chapter in Loki, we shape the wanted region, but in linear programming, we shape the unwanted region. Okay, let's start. Graphing linear inequalities in one variable, that means only a x or only a y. So draw a Cartesian plane and shape the unwanted region. So here is your Cartesian plane. First draw the line x is equal to 2. So it will only cut the x-axis and it will cut at 2. Now because there's an equal sign, it's a solid line. Okay. And now, because you can see this is very smaller, will be to the negative numbers. And remember, this is the wanted, but we shade the unwanted region. Okay, let's look at the next one. So first, okay, the next one, y is bigger than negative 1. So it must cut the y-axis and it must cut at negative 1. And it must not be a solid line, it must be a what? A dotted line. So first draw the line y is equal to negative 1, the dotted line. And now it's bigger. So bigger will be to the positive numbers, but we shade the unwanted. This side, the opposite side. Okay, I want you to stop the video and I want you to try now 19, and I want you to do number A and I want you to do number C. You can continue the video as soon as you are finished. I'm just going to have a grid. Okay, there's my grid. So draw on a Cartesian plane and shape the unwanted region. So let's start with number A. So number A will be x is bigger than negative 1. So if I draw a line, so this will be 1, 2, 3. This will be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. This will be 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2. Okay, I'm going to draw A and B on this Cartesian, but you can do separate ones. So it must cut the x-axis and it must cut at negative 1. But remember, there's not an equal sign. And if there's not an equal sign, it will be a broken line. So this will be the line, x is equal to negative 1. But if I shade x is bigger, now remember this is bigger, but can you recall that I will shade the unwanted. And where will be the unwanted? It will be on the other side. Okay, so in this case, so I will just shade here. Again, it's not a ruler. Just take your ruler and just shade it like this. Okay, and if for the next one, y, okay, so first draw the line, y is equal to 2. Now, where is the line y equals to 2? The line y equals 2 will be this. So this will be the line. Okay, so in this case, this is number B. And what is number B saying? It's y must be bigger and equal to 2. So bigger than 2 will be up, but remember I shaded the unwanted. Okay, and it will be best in this case if you draw it on separate graphs. Just for my space, I'm drawing it on the same. Okay, so there's number A, and on a separate one, this will be number B. Okay, let's go on. What inequality is represented by the area that is not shaded? So in this case, this is the part not shaded. So if I have a look, I just see this line is on the y-axis. And what is the equation of the line on the y-axis? It's x equals 0. And this is x is equal to 3. So if you do that, and so what inequality is represented? Take that two values, and it must be bigger than 0, but smaller than 3. And both is solid lines, and that's why there's equal signs. This is interesting because it's x as well as y. So let's first start, and I'm just going to write in all the lines. And I first just the equation. So this is x equals -2, and this is x equals 3. So -2 and 3, so it's dotted, so it's no equal sign, so it's bigger than -2 and smaller than 3. There it is. And then the next one, y, let's just take another color. This is y is equal to -2, and this is y is equal to 1. So this is -2 and 1, so it's bigger than -2 and smaller. Solid, so it's an equal sign, smaller than no equal sign. Again, I want you to stop the video, and I want you to do A, and then I think D. That's the two. Let's just make space. So what inequality is represented by the area not shaded? Number A. So again, let's just write down, so it's cutting the y-axis. So this is y equals 3, and this is y equals -1. Remember, this is dotted, and this is a solid line. So if I'm just going to write it here, then I'm just going to say y, and I'm just going to always let the open sides show to the same side. So in this case, okay, sorry. So in this case, it's going to be, put it first like this, and then you're going to say, okay, I'm here. Then there is -1. And so the smallest one on this side and the biggest one there. And then if it's a dotted line, you leave it like this. But if it's a solid line, you just bring your equal sign. Okay. And then number D. So in number D, I'm just going to do it like this. So again. Okay, I'm first going to write down all the lines. So this is going to be, it's cutting the y-axis, y equals 4. And this is on the x-axis, so it's y equals 0. So let's start with this one, y. Okay, the mouths to the same side. So y is bigger than 0 and smaller than 4. But again, this is a solid line, so there's the equal. This is a broken line, so there's no equal sign. Okay, so the next one, so this was number D. Okay, then the next one, let's just again write it in. So this is cutting the x-axis, so it's x equals -2, and this is x is equal to 1. So there's my x, and then I just do it again like this, okay, and there's the -2, and there's the 1, and there's the solid, so the equal, and there's the broken, so it's no equal sign, and that's how you do it. Let's move on. Now, the previous ones was just having one variable. Now, we're going to look at graphing inequalities involving two variables. There's an x and a y, so it's going to be like a straight line. So remember, a linear inequality is like an equation. Y is equal to 2x minus 4, but it will have an inequality like this. So it's, instead of the equal sign, it will have one of these 4 inequalities. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Let's just continue. So instead of the equal sign, we are just going to put an inequality. When you graph the inequality, first graph the equals line, so the equal sign, just like the previous. Then shade the unwanted area. Make y the subject of the formula. Then for a greater than, the wanted region is above the line, shade the opposite side, and for a less than, the wanted region is below the line. I really want to show you this method. In my previous series, I didn't include this method, but it's really very easy. You can do this method and then you can just test it like I did in the previous textbook. Okay, ordinary level textbook. Let me show you, let me explain it to you. Draw a Cartesian plane and shape the unwanted region. So again, first I'm going to draw the straight line, but don't use a table. No. So in this case, because I'm doing it not on graph paper and I want a fast method, use the method. So first draw the line. Where it cuts the x-axis, you make y0. And where it cuts the y-axis, you make x0. So always just find that 2 points and just draw a line between them. So put the equal sign. Where it cuts the x-axis, make the opposite one 0. So make y0. And then just find the value of x, it's at 2. So it cuts the x-axis at 2, do you see? Where it cuts the y-axis, make x 0. So in this case, I'm just going to put there the 0, okay? And then the value of y is -4, there. And then I just draw the line. Now just take note, now I just focus on the inequality sign. There's not an equal, so it's a broken line. Okay, now if I want to see, if y is already on this side, if it's smaller, there's the line, then it shows it's the bottom. If it's bigger, then it shows the top. So that means the bottom will be the wanted, and I shade the opposite one, the unwanted. But you can always test to see if your shading is correct. Take any point in the wanted. Now in this case, I just take any point. I actually take the point 0, 0. It's in the unwanted. Doesn't matter what point. But if it's in the unwanted, it must make the statement false. So if I put it in, not the equal sign, only the inequality, I say 0 is smaller than -4. That's incorrect. That's false. So that point is in the unwanted, exactly what I indicated there. If it's true, then it's the wanted area, and if it's false, then it's the unwanted area. Again, I want you to stop, and I'm going to give you 2, and then I'm slowly going to go through the process again. As I said, it's a bit new, but it's very useful, and it's a very fast method. So again, I'm just going to give you 2, so stop the video and do number A, and then I would love a bigger and equal, and then C. That's the 2. So as soon as you are finished, you can continue the video. Again, I'm going to put a grid on. Going to move it a little bit. So I'm going to start with A, but because this is now more complicated lines, let's first work out where it cuts the x and the y axis. So if I have, okay, I'm first going to write down the inequality. Okay, then I'm going to make it an equal sign for the drawing. Okay, of the line. So if it, and I want to show you again, if it cuts the x-axis, make y 0. I'm going to write this for you first. And when it cuts the y-axis, make x 0. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be like this. So if I do this, I'm going to write it first down, just the equation like it is there. So y equals, and in the place of y, okay, now let's first write it down. In the place of y, I put a 0. So it cuts the x-axis at 5. Again, just write it down. And in the place of x, I put a 0. And now I'm just going to, it's 5 and 5, okay? So if I draw my axis, and now I have to make it a bit smaller, that I have more space. One, two, three, but this is only 5 and 5. Okay, so it's going to cut, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's going to work like this. So if I'm just going to mark it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm just going to draw a line. That's 5 and 5. I want to take another color. And now oh, it's not a solid line. Did you see that? Okay, so I must just make sure. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. Sorry. I want to reverse and then I go back. Okay, it's fine. Let's see, I want to not. Again, I forgot to put the ruler, but I will show you now. It's not a solid line. But just with my technology, I think I'm going to do it like this. If you do it with a pencil, you can also do it like this. Okay, so now, remember, if it's smaller, now there's two sides. There's a side and there's a side. Now, this is going bigger, can you see? And this is going smaller. So smaller will be my wanted. And bigger will be my unwanted. But I must always shade the what side. Can you remember? I must always shade the unwanted. And then I can just do the test. So if I do the test, and the test will be the 0.00. And I will put only the inequality sign. And I'll put the 0. So 0 is smaller than 5. Yeah, that's true. So I'm correct. I shade the correct one. Okay, and that's how you do it. Let's do another one. This shading is this, all this is very important. As soon as we come to the practical examples, you must be able to draw the lines, you must be able to do the shading, and that's part of the practical problems. Okay, let's look at number C. So it's y, and it's going to be like this. Now again, when I do the test, I just take the inequality, but when I do the drawing of the line, I take just the equal sign. So just make it like this, just for the drawing. That's the line I'm going to draw. So again, I want to show you where it, and I'm writing it out, where it cuts the x-axis, I make y0. And where it cuts the y-axis, I make x0. So this is going to be, so if I'm going to look at this, then I'm just going to say, okay, if I do it like this, the first thing is going to be just to draw the line. So I substitute in the place of y a 0. So 2x is equal to 4, I divide 2, the value of x is equal to 2. Then this one, I will put a 0. So y will be equal to 4. And then I'm going to draw my line. So it's at 2 and 4, the line. So if I'm going to draw that line, so again it's just the positive values. So I think it's going to work again if I just draw it here. Okay, this is the x-axis. And this is the y-axis. And again, okay, I'm just going to mark it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to draw, it cuts the x at 2 and the y at 4. Okay, and again, okay, now I just look at the inequality sign. Do you see? Let me just take a pen. It's bigger. There's the y bigger, y bigger. Now there's two sides. There's a side and there's a side. Look at the straight line. Now if you look at the bigger, do you agree the bigger will be up, up? Here is down. So this will be up, will be my wanted, because it's bigger. And then the other side of the line will be my unwanted. Okay, and now I'm just going to do my shading. I always shade the what? I always shade the unwanted. Okay, and now I can just do the test. Let's do the test. It's always good to test, especially in the beginning. So what I test, if it's not going through the origin, test the point 0, 0. Okay, so in this case, I will write it without the equal sign. And then I will do substitution. So 0 will be bigger than 4. So now 0 will be bigger than 4. Is that correct? That's false. And is this point, is it in the unwanted? Yes. So it's supposed to be false, because it's, if I was choosing a point in the wanted, it's supposed to be true. So it means that I did my shading correct, as well as my line. Let's move on. So in this case, draw a Cartesian plane, show the region defined by the inequalities. There's 1, 2, 3, by shading the unwanted. So I'm just going to do it now like this. I'm just going to have more than one line on the Cartesian plane. So I do exactly cuts, I draw the line, I do the shading. I do this one. Now this is very, very, very important. If there's not a C value, if the C value is 0, you cannot follow this method. This method will not work because you don't have a C value. That means it's going through the origin. Then you must make a table. So then you make your table, you choose a few values, and then you just substitute, you plot your points, because it's going through the origin, it's cutting the x-axis at 0 and the y-axis at 0, but you don't know, must the line be this, must it be steep, must it be less steep, and that's why don't forget then to draw a table. And then the last one, it's on the axis, y is equal to 0, it's on the what? Opposite x-axis. And it's a broken, so broken. And then do your shading, and this will be your required region. Okay. Okay, in this case, I'm just going to give you one, because there's 3 lines to test. So stop the video, do try now 22, and just do number A. And again, I'm just going to start here, a little bit more to the top. Let's see if I can move it down a little bit. Yes. I'm going to create a grid. There is my grid. So in this case, let's start with the lines. This one, the only one that's difficult is this one, but I want to tell you this one. Okay, now let's start with the first one. Let's just write it correctly. This will be x is bigger and equal to 1. Now, in this case, it's actually an easy one. Yeah, it's actually not a table one. Okay, but we have to continue now. So x is equal to 1. It's only having one variable, so it's easy. We can draw that easy. This time, y is bigger and equal to 2. That's easy. The only one is x plus y. And I want to tell you something. If you have 1x plus 1y, that means already that the x, it will cut the x-axis at 5 and it will cut the y-axis as 5. Meaning that if you have x plus y equals 10, it will cut the x-axis at 10, it will cut the y-axis as 10. Because as soon as you put a 0, either there or there, the other one will become that constant on that side, on the right-hand side. Okay, but this is an easy one. Maybe I'll give you another one after this one. So let's just find my grid first. There it is. It must at least go up to 5. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So x is equal, it will cut the x-axis and it will cut it at 1. So it's going to suppose it's going to be here. This will cut the y-axis and it will cut it at 2. I just want to write. So this is x is equal to 1. This will cut the y-axis and it will cut it at 2. And now I said it will cut at 5 and 5. So there's the 2 points. Then I just draw my line. So then it will be that x plus y okay. And now I will just do my shading. So x is bigger than 1. X is bigger than 1. Do you see it's to this side? But I shade the other side. Let's do the shading in red. So bigger than 1, so I will shade this side. This was easy. This one, x is bigger than 2 is up, but I'll shade the other side down. And then x plus y equals 5. Okay, the inequality. Oh, I didn't put the inequality there. Let's just put the inequality there. So in this case, it's going to be smaller and equal. So it's a solid line. All of them are solid lines. And it's smaller. So it's to this side. And I shade this side. And then the required region, this will be R. Okay, that will be the required region. Okay, I actually want you to do another one. I want you to do C. Due to that, you must create a table there. So stop the video and do number C. Again, you can continue the video as soon as you are finished. Okay, so in this case, it's y is bigger and equal to x over 2, and y is smaller than 2x, and x plus y is smaller and equal to 8. Okay, the problem is this one and this one. I must create a table, and just to make it easier, I'm just going to create it quickly here, because it's usually not very difficult to work, because there's no C values. If there's no C values, I must create a table. 2 points will be enough. Okay, I said that, but I'm having so many points at that one. Okay, but let's start. So this is x, this is y. Now choose points that's going to be, because linear programming is just positive. So take positive points. So take 0, and take, for example, this is 8. So take 4 and 8. This is x and y. Take 0 and 8. I think it's enough. So, I cannot take, yes, I can take 0. 0 divided by 2 is 0. The 0 must just not be in the denominator. Then 4 divided 2 is 2. 8 divided 2 is 4. And then 2 times 0 is 0. I think this one is going to be a bit big. Let's rather take 4 there. Otherwise I must make it 2. 2 points is enough. So 2 times 4 will be 8. And remember what I said to you. If it's 1x plus 1y, 8, it will cut the x-axis at 8 and it will cut the y-axis at 8. So let's just start drawing my line. So in this case, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the y-axis, x-axis. Okay, so if I draw this one, this is 0, and then it's going to be 4 and 2. So 4 and 2, it's going to be here, here, and then 8 and 4. And then drawing my line, it's just going to be like this. And then this one, okay, so let me just write, this is y is equal to x over 2. Then my other line, let's just take this one. So this is 0 and 0 again, and this is 4 and 8. So it's going to be there. So again, I draw my line, and this is going to be y is equal to 2x. And then the last one, can you recall? I just want to see, this one is not a solid line. So don't forget to make it a broken dotted line. Okay, the last one is again a solid line. So I can just go, and in the last one, just want to see if I have my pen. Okay, and now I'm just going to do my shading. So x is bigger is up. And I'm going to shade, so if it's bigger, I'm going to shade down. Okay, and then there's this one, blue. Let's just go for blue. This is smaller, so I'm going to shade the bigger. And then my last one, this one is smaller, so this is smaller, and again, I'm going to shade my bigger. Okay, and then in the required region, they say just put this, oh, it's my pen. This is my required region. Okay, so just remember, if there's not a C value, create a small table. If there's a C value, you can do the method where it cuts the x-axis, where it cuts the y-axis. Okay, we're going to the finals of this video. Just the last one. I give you the lines and I want you just to write down the required region. So you can find the equations of the lines. Now you just do it with the method of that we did in coordinate geometry. You can just find the gradient, okay, and then you can substitute it to find your value of C, okay. So in this case, it's going through, the value of C will be 0. Oh, this is a horizontal line, so it just cuts the y-axis. Sorry, I skipped a little bit. So it's y equals 1. This is y equals 2x. The last one, usually, can you remember what I said? If it's 5 and 5, then it's x plus y equals 5. If it's 6 and 6, then x plus y equals 6. But you can do it with the method also. Okay, and then they say the unshaded region is labeled, defined by, write down the Fourier inequalities. So if you start with this line, this is smaller, but the wanted is bigger, and it's a broken, so just put your bigger, can you see? This one, this is smaller, can you see it's in the smaller, and it's solid, so smaller and equal. Okay, and then the last one, this is smaller, so, and it's solid, so it's also x plus y, can be like, you can write it like this also, x plus y is smaller and equal to 5. Okay, so doesn't matter if it's on that side. So that is, maybe I can just go through this. You can test to see if your inequalities are correct by just substituting a point. The inequality is this, and x is bigger than 0, y inequalities of this are usually implied but are not written. Both variables are included in the final solution. Okay. We're going to end this video, and I'm only going to let you do one. Just do number 1. You can stop the video as soon as you are finished. Okay, and again, I'm just quickly write down that equations. That's my first thing, is just to get the equations. This is number 1. So this is nice because it's cutting the y-axis. Let's just write the equations down, and it's cutting at 8. And that will be L1. Okay, then L2, okay, let's just rather put it at the bottom. So this is L2. So let's first find the gradient. But again, if you see it like this, I don't even want you to do it on that long method. You can see it's cutting at 6 and 6, so it will just be x plus y equals 6. 1x plus 1y equals 6. And then at 3, now this one is a bit more. Okay, I can quickly work out that gradient. So let's just take 2 points. They take that point and take that point. Okay, so this one is a bit more complicated. So my 2 points will be 0 and 2, and my other point was 6 and 8. And you know how I like to mark it? So x1, y1, x2, y2. So in the place of this, so I will quickly go and find out the gradient. So it will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in the place of y2, so it's 8 minus 1 over 6 minus 0, and that will be 8 over 6, so it will be 4 over 3, or it will be 1 1/3. Okay. Then the next one, I will quickly do that substitution, or I just look where it cuts the y-axis. Okay, so in this case, I'm just checking something quickly. It's cutting the y-axis. Where is it cutting the y-axis? It's cutting the y-axis at 2. So therefore, the value of c will be 2. So if I'm going to write that, I just want to see if I did it correct. 6 and 8, 0 and 2. And then I'm just going to see. So it was, oh, I see my mistake. That's why I was checking. I got a feeling there was some problem. Okay. Okay, so usually if you get that feeling, just go back, because it was 8 minus 2, and it was 6 minus 0. That's better. So it's 6 over 6, and that's 1. My value of c. So therefore, what is the equation? The equation is y is equal to 1x plus 2. Okay, y equals, or just x plus 2. And now, so there's my free lines. This is L3. The unshaded region is labeled R. Define the inequalities. Now this is very easy, especially on that method I showed you. So in this case, it's dotted, so, and it's down. So it will be y is smaller than 8. Okay. And then the next one, L2, there is the line, but it's up. Can you see? It's up from the line. That's bigger. So it will be x plus y. It's a solid line, so bigger and equal to that 6. Or it can be y is bigger and equal to negative x plus 6. It's the same. And the final one, here is the final one, and it's, okay, look, there's the line. Then it's up, not down. Up will be bigger. So it will be y. So let's just get that pen correct. Y is bigger than x plus 2. And is there an equal sign? Yes, because it's a solid. So that was the only dotted line, so that's no equal sign. The rest must have equal signs. There's a lot of examples still, so practice it to really make sure that you can do this before you move on in linear programming.